Okay, I will explain the distributive law. It goes like this.
Excelente.
So you multiply this with this and this with this. So for example,
Profe Julio.
yeah. So for squaring a binomial, you square the first term, then you multiply both of them times 2, and finally you square the second term. So for example, so in cube of a binomial, you first get the cube of the first term, then you multiply 3 times the square of the first term times the second term, then you multiply 3 times the first term times the square of the second term, and finally you get the cube of the second term. So for example, so when you have the same terms but with a different sign, you will get the square of the first term minus the square of the second term. So for example,
so with binomials with common terms, the things you gotta do is first square the first term, and then add the second term and the third term, and multiply that with the first term, and then after that you gotta add the second term and the third term, like in an example. So in binomial times a special term, what you gotta do is first check that the formula is the same as this. So like in this example, this is the square, so this is the square, this is multiplying these two, is multiplying these two, and this is the square of this one, and it checks out, and you just complete it with this. Just do the cubes of both. So in this case it will be 8 and 27. So in the greatest common factor, what you gotta do is find the like term in these two, which is a in this case, and you take that out and just multiply it by what it will have to be this one. So a times x would be ax, and a times y would be ay. That's why. So in an example, it would be like this is the common term is 2, so you put out 2, and then that 2 times y is 2x, 2 times x, plus 2 times y is 2y, y, and that is the answer. In the difference of squares, you have to check that you have a minus in here and that both terms are squared. So you can do it like this. In this case, the sign is a minus and both of them are squared, so you can do the formula. And you just put
So in sum of difference of cubes, the first two terms, first you need to check that they both are cubes. So for example, in here, this will be the answer. So when you have these characteristics in cube of a binomial, you will put the first term and the second term in parentheses at the cube. So for example here it will be
Well, this is the perfect square trinomial in which you have this trinomial and you can see if it has the perfect square. For example, here we have 4, which when you're dividing or squaring, you get a 2, and a 9 that you get a 3. How to know if this is right? Well, you get the number of the middle and you divide it by 2. For example, 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then with the 6 you can see if it can be divisible by either number, and if it can, for example, here 6 divided by 3, 2. You need to get these numbers like here. Okay, well, here we have the non-perfect square trinomial. When you get the non-perfect square trinomial, you're gonna have a problem like this one, right here. So what you need to do first is you need to find the greatest common factor. In this case, it's the 3. And then you need to find out if the first number, which in this case it's a 1, and the last number, what can they be multiplied to? In this case, it's a 4. Then you have the 4 in this x, and then you put the middle number, in this case the 5, down here. And then you find a number that can be, that when multiplied equals 4, and that when added equals 5. For example, in this case, it's 4 plus 1. So you then grab this one, and then you put x squared plus x, since it's in the middle, plus 4x plus 4. Always remember to keep the greatest common factor out. If not, it will be wrong. And then you can solve it. What they have in common? They have in common the x. 1. Here it's 4, x plus 1, and then it's 3, x plus 1, x plus 4. Okay, well, here we have factoring by group E, which honestly is really easy. First, you need to find out if they have a greatest common factor. They don't. And then you divide them like this, and then you find here if they have any greatest common factor, for which they do, is x. And you get 1 plus x. And then here, do they have any greatest common factor? Is y squared. Y squared, and then inside the parentheses you get x plus 1. Then, since these two are the same, just flipped, you put them in the same parentheses. And since these two are the ones that get outside, they get inside another parentheses. And there you go, you have the answer.